Hello and welcome. My name is Adam Levy. This is Guitar Tips, my weekly video vlog. Yeah. Anyway, I post a new video here each and every Friday morning. Friday morning Pacific time. If you're somewhere else, it may be Friday afternoon or some other day altogether. But anyway, welcome back, welcome forward. Today's guitar tip is don't play the bar lines. Don't play the bar lines. So I was thinking about this today and yesterday. I'm in the middle of a recording session, and it's tempting if somebody gives you chord charts to look at to think of music in one bar chunks. Now, if you don't read music, I think you can still conceptualize this. If you do read music, you'll definitely know what I'm talking about. So you're looking at a chart, and you got the first verse, and it's a chord for a bar, and then the second bar is another chord, and then another chord, and I'm just going to make up something. So let's say we're in C. So maybe the song is a bar of C, bar of F, bar of G, bar of E minor, bar of F, bar of D minor, bar of C over G, bar of G. And so it's tempting to look at that in one bar phrases, You wouldn't play it, quite that clunky, but you get what I mean. There, when you see the bar line, there's this sort of sense of, okay, reset. Task achieved, reset, task achieved, reset. And of course, music doesn't work that way. At least most of the time, it doesn't seem to work that way. It seems to be about phrases, about longer phrases. If you ever look at a drummer's homemade chart, I've seen a lot of drummers work this way, where they make a chart maybe just on a notepad, legal paper or something with lines, and they just have each section. So they might say V for verse and 8, and then V again if there's another verse, 8, and then if the chorus happens, it might say Cho or C or whatever, 16 bars, and then verse again, and maybe they've made little notes about what the groove is that they're going to play in each section. But they're looking at phrases, 8-bar phrases, and of course a singer would do much the same. If you're playing, say, Let It Be. I don't know if you know Let It Be. It's a song by the Beatles. If you don't know that, look it up. It's a pretty good song. And anyway, it goes. So that's a verse. It's 2 chords per bar if you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or it might be 1 chord per bar if you're thinking in cut time, 1, 2, 2, whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is, if you're the person singing that song, if you're Paul McCartney watching Guitar Tips, please make a comment down below. But if you're a singer in a band and you sing Let It Be, you don't think of it in 1-bar chunks or even 2-bar chunks. You think of the whole first verse as one phrase, and that's how you'd sing it. I think a drummer would play that way. A good drummer would. Any good musician would, whatever part of the band you're in. So that's what this tip is about. It's about not letting the bar lines or the chord changes or whatever, just because those things are happening, don't let that convince you to reset anything. If anything, there could be kind of a sense of that feeling at the end of a phrase, between verses or between sections. But what happens if you do break those up into little pieces like that? The music can lose its flow. There's just this kind of heavy, heavy-footed boom, 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 and maybe there's a style of music where that feels good, but I can't think of one at the moment. Most music seems to want to have a sense of forward momentum, and so what do you do? I guess I'm saying what not to do, and maybe it'd be helpful if I said what to do. So conceptually, let's forget about the chord progression I made up in the beginning. Let's stick with "Let It Be" because that might be familiar to some of you, Paul McCartney. So it goes C, G, A minor, F. And you can decorate it in different ways, but that's the basic changes: C, G, F, and it walks down to C. So that's a verse. So you can think about, think about where you're going and maybe walk up to it or connect to it. So if I'm going C to F, C, G. It's so subtle, it may not be something that you can even detect, but I'm thinking about G before I get there. I'm not necessarily going to connect the dots of going, But I am kind of doing that in my mind. I'm thinking about this kind of big phrase mark that connects things. So I'll put little fills in between it, and I'll also be cognizant of what the vocal melody is, which I'm not going to sing here at the moment, but sometimes I'll just whisper it under my breath when I'm recording, so that at least some part of my body, even if I'm not singing, you can't sing out loud usually on a session if you're recording acoustic guitar, because there's a mic right here and somebody else is singing. Even if you're the one who's singing, you're probably going to record your vocal later. So you got to be quiet, but I'll mouth the vocal to get the rhythm of the melody at least kind of going through, my mouth and my breath and whatever other parts of my body are affected by that. So between the melody and thinking about a phrase, phrase. So again, how can I phrase this as what to do? Well, one thing to do is maybe you don't always have to play the root of the chord on the downbeat. Maybe you can play, this is what it would sound like if you played the root of the chord every other chord change, and on the chord changes where you don't play the root, you just play upper part of the chord. So that just means strumming up here instead of strumming, plucking down here. So that'd be like this. Sounds like it just creates a little bit of space by not going boom, boom, and I could do it, I could play 4 chords until I get to the next bass note. So now I'm getting a little loosey-goosey with it, so this may be a case of take the suggestion and make some music out of it. You don't have to play exactly what I'm playing here. But do you get the idea? Do you get where I'm going with this? Just lighten up, and also, another aspect of this is you don't have to hit every single chord. Unless it's just you and the singer, or if you are the singer, unless it's just guitar and voice. Yeah, in that case, you might want to do something on every chord, but you don't have to hit the full chord. And if there's a whole band playing around you, just bits and pieces of the chord. You know, a C chord could be as much as this, it could be as little as this. And, you know, there's plenty of other stops in between there. So I hope this was helpful. It's definitely something that I find helpful to think about. Don't play the bar lines. They're just there to help you keep your place, but they're not meant, you know, they're not meant for you to hit a hard reset in your mind every 4 beats or 3 beats or 6 beats or whatever kind of music you're playing. It's just a little kind of marker to help you count and to help everybody stay together. But don't play the bar lines. Don't play the bar lines. That's this week's guitar tip. Thanks for tuning in. I hope that you will subscribe. It's easy to do. There's a big red button here down below. You just got to click on it. And if you like guitar tips, I hope that you will tell a friend. Whatever that means. If you tweet about it or if you just literally talk to your friend and tell them about it, that'd be fantastic. Guitar tips. The URL is youtube.com/Adam Levy guitar tips. Until next week, stay tuned and take good care.